The WNBA has officially reached its breaking point, and the atmosphere inside the arena tonight feels unbearably intense. If you believe the conflict between longtime veterans and the league's rising stars had finally cooled off, you could not be more mistaken. We are now witnessing the build-up to one of the most emotional, fiery, and unforgettable rematches basketball fans have seen in years. The Indiana Fever are getting ready to battle the Golden State Valkyries, but this is far beyond an ordinary regular season matchup. Strategy and playbooks no longer matter. This showdown has become deeply emotional, fueled by pride, toughness, and survival on the court. At the heart of this growing chaos stands Caitlin Clark. Night after night, game after game, she continues to face relentless pressure. She has dealt with rough physical play, defensive tactics clearly designed to wear her down, and constant trash talk from players struggling to accept the league's changing reality. We are talking about a superstar who is transforming women's basketball before everyone's eyes, a player reportedly responsible for generating an incredible 26.5% of the league's total economic impact. Yet instead of receiving protection, she keeps becoming the main target. But the latest controversy may have pushed things far beyond the limit, creating whispers throughout the entire league. While officials and executives remain strangely silent, attention has now shifted toward Tiffany Hayes, a veteran accused of indirectly encouraging fans to verbally and emotionally attack Caitlin Clark. And the most unbelievable part of this entire controversy is that the league office appeared to do absolutely nothing. Total silence. That silence alone is raising serious questions. Now it is time to examine what may really be happening behind the scenes, because the lack of response on the top is revealing a completely different story altogether.
It's been a long week. Heated rematch after Tiffany Hayes is okaying fans to attack Caitlin Clark. The league did nothing. The Golden State Valkyries did nothing. Everybody wants to sweep it under the rug, but knowing if it was the other way around, it'd be a big issue. But it is what it is. We're here. Let's take a look at what Natalie Nakase had to say, man.
Hearing something like that honestly sends chills through your entire body. It feels like the whole situation is being quietly buried and ignored. Just stop and think about the obvious double standard for a moment. If the situation were reversed, if a famous rookie had openly encouraged that kind of hostile behavior to a respected veteran with over a decade in the league, it would dominate headlines across every major sports network in the country. Suspensions would come immediately. Massive fines would follow without hesitation. Public apologies would be demanded from everyone involved. But because Caitlin Clark is the one being targeted, the league appears willing to look the other way and hope the outrage eventually disappears. However, there is one person who absolutely cannot ignore what is coming tonight, and that is Golden State Valkyries head coach Natalie Nakase. Coach Nakase fully understands the storm heading directly toward her team. She now faces an almost impossible challenge, trying to find both a strategic and physical solution capable of slowing down the offensive powerhouse known as the Indiana Fever. During recent press conferences, Nakase spoke honestly about the nightmare of preparing a defense against someone with Caitlin Clark's unlimited shooting range, elite basketball IQ, and incredible court vision. This is no longer about guarding an ordinary point guard near the three-point line. This is about defending a player who becomes dangerous the second she steps off the team bus and enters the arena. Listen carefully to Coach Nakase as she describes the terrifying reality of trying to contain number 22.
To say about Caitlin Clark. Here it is.
A lot of times against Caitlin, the first game you guys picked up 94 feet. What kind of things do you try to do when you pick up 94 feet to give different?
Well, because she does a heavy load to pretty much of the offense. So again, you just want to put a lot of different bodies on her. Because she can shoot from like half court, like you just got to make sure we're aware. So just more awareness for us.
We talked about that.
I appreciate you showing respect because you know the girl can pull up from half court. You know that.
She can literally shoot from half court, and that statement alone should leave everyone stunned for a second. We are talking about a professional head coach at the highest level of women's basketball openly admitting on camera that her defense has to start guarding a rookie from nearly the full length of the floor. That completely changes the structure and spacing of the game itself. It demands an insane level of stamina, awareness, discipline, and nonstop pressure from every defender involved. The Valkyries are throwing everything they possibly can at her. They are double-teaming, trapping, blitzing, and using every defensive tactic available in an attempt to slow her down. They even added players like Veronica Burton, a guard recognized for her toughness, hustle, and defensive intensity, specifically to disrupt Caitlin Clark's flow offensively. Burton spoke about staying intentional, trusting the scouting report, sticking to the game plan, and studying film relentlessly to figure out exactly where Caitlin prefers to create her shots. But the harsh reality is this. Film study can only help so much when you are dealing with a player capable of pulling up from the logo while two elite defenders are pressuring her at the same time. You can push her left, force her right, trap her near the sideline, or pressure her at half court, but none of it truly feels enough. The scoring ability is simply too dangerous, and the speed of her release makes defending her nearly impossible.
I'm just following our game plan.
You got to see Mo in Indiana.
Veronica, it don't matter. It don't matter where you guard Caitlin today. She gonna light your ass up. It don't matter which way you send her. You send her left, you send her right, you send her up, you send her down. She gonna be dropping buckets nonstop.
Relentless scoring. That is the brutal reality the Valkyries are being forced to deal with. But deep down, these opposing teams understand they cannot consistently stop Caitlin Clark through normal defense alone, and that realization has pushed things into a far more dangerous direction. When defenders cannot block the shot legally, they start attacking the arms. When they cannot stay in front of her with speed and footwork, they begin using excessive physical contact and lowering shoulders to force her off balance. The previous meeting between these two teams barely resembled a basketball game at times. It looked more like an all-out street fight inside an arena. The level of physical play crossed the line from aggressive competition into something that felt genuinely reckless. Early in that matchup, the Golden State Valkyries realized their only real chance to compete was by trying to overpower and intimidate the Indiana Fever physically. There were hard reaches, jersey grabs, off-ball contact, and questionable hits that constantly pushed the limits of what officials would allow. Their entire defensive approach challenged referees to call fouls on nearly every possession. And for a brief stretch, that strategy actually disrupted the rhythm and momentum of the game completely. But playing basketball with that level of chaos and aggression eventually comes with consequences. Fouls started stacking up rapidly, emotions exploded into heated confrontations, and tensions boiled over across the floor. Now, heading into this massive rematch, every official working the game will be under enormous pressure and intense scrutiny from the opening tip until the final buzzer.
Well, look, y'all did a lot of fouling last game. All y'all did was hack. That was all y'all was doing. Indiana Fever, too. Indiana Fever fouled way too much. The Golden State Valkyries last game versus the Fever fouled way too much. So we'll see. I think it's going to be tight. I think the whistles are going to be tight because of this Tiffany Hayes situation with Caitlin Clark. I think the referees are going to be trying to control this game and not let it get out of control with physicality. So I think it's going to be a lot.
Hack first and ask questions later. That seemed to be the entire defensive mindset during the last matchup. But tonight is expected to unfold very differently. The referees are fully aware of the enormous pressure surrounding this game. They can feel it from millions of viewers watching across the country, from sports analysts criticizing every missed call on national television, and from league officials who understand how explosive the situation has become. Everyone knows this game must remain under control, especially with the lingering controversy and toxic tension connected to Tiffany Hayes still hanging over the league. If the physical play spirals out of control once again, there's real concern that someone could end up seriously hurt. That is why many expect the officials call the game extremely tight from the very beginning. The expectation is that referees will establish firm boundaries within the opening minutes of the first quarter to prevent things from escalating. Natalie Nakase clearly recognizes this change as well. She understands her team cannot afford to send the Indiana Fever to the bonus early or allow another massive free throw advantage like the last meeting. She also knows that if her players continue defending with the same reckless aggression shown previously, Caitlin Clark and the Fever could spend the entire night at the free throw line, collecting easy points possession after possession. Nakase even laughed with reporters about the extreme and almost ridiculous adjustments her team has been forced to make during practice simply to avoid constant fouls. For a defensive group built around pressure, physicality, and intimidation, adapting to a more controlled style represents both a major mental challenge and a difficult physical adjustment.
I think every game requires a different temperament too with the rest of how tight they're calling it because they're human. They're human. So with that human being aspect, it's like everyone sees it different. So we stress today, like high hands. We're not going to put them in bonus. That is definitely one of our keys tomorrow. Like we want them to earn their shots to shoot over us rather than they get 29 free shots at the line. I'm like, come on, guys. Like, you know, we helped the situation. So tomorrow we're just going to be really smart. We're going to be really disciplined. You're going to see us. I told them to go to sleep like this. I sleep.
At this point, defenders probably feel like they have to sleep with both hands raised straight in the air. That is how difficult guarding Caitlin Clark has become. The moment you lower your arms or reach in for even half a second, she immediately punishes a mistake. She creates the contact, finishes through the foul, scores a basket, and calmly walks to the free throw line looking for the N1. That is the impossible choice teams are facing tonight. Do you play disciplined, clean, textbook defense and risk watching her explode for 40 points with ease? Or do you turn up the physicality, disrupt the rhythm of the game, and hope the referees decide not to call every foul? That is a fascinating chess match unfolding right before everyone's eyes. But beyond the tactics, the adjustments, and the coaching battles, there's also a deeply personal emotional story developing on the court. This game is about respect. It is about reputation. It is about legacy. Tiffany Hayes attempted to embrace the role of the tough veteran enforcer. She wanted to rattle the rookie superstar and create enough chaos to get inside Caitlin Clark's head. But instead of intimidating her, she may have awakened an even more dangerous competitor. The last time Hayes tried to challenge her that way, it ended badly. She walked away frustrated, overwhelmed during the game, and later appeared to search for support online after the final buzzer sounded. Caitlin Clark does not need social media arguments or online trash talk to send a message. She lets her game speak for itself. She has that rare superstar ability to walk into a loud and hostile arena, bury multiple logo threes in a row, and completely silence the entire crowd within minutes. In many cases, she does not just quiet opposing fans. She actually wins them over. She has a unique ability to transform a difficult road environment into something that feels like a home game almost instantly. And tonight, she looks ready to put on that exact kind of performance once again.
And Caitlin Clark has the ability to turn a team's home game into a road game at the snap of a finger. This is going to be a big-time battle. We'll see what Tiffany Hayes is on. We'll see if she's still barking. Last time you barked up that tree, it fell on you, and I don't think you liked it. I don't think you liked it because you was on social media begging for help and begging for people to do stuff. Yeah. You might want to be quiet this game, Tiffany Hayes. Get down in the comments.
This is far more than just another game on the regular season schedule. This feels like the ultimate revenge showdown. Once again, the stage could not be set any more perfectly. The pressure, the emotion, and the drama surrounding this matchup have reached another level entirely. The Indiana Fever are not simply chasing another win to improve their record. They are trying to send a powerful message to Tiffany Hayes, to the Golden State Valkyries, and to every team across the WNBA. You can try to play overly physical. You can try to intimidate. You can attempt to ignore the disrespect and bury the controversy. But when the spotlight shines at its brightest, true greatness always rises above the chaos. Make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. Leave a huge like on this video, and drop your prediction in the comments about who you think takes this massive matchup tonight. Will the Valkyries manage to bully their way toward a controversial victory, or is Caitlin Clark about to deliver another legendary performance that completely silences her critics once and for all? This is WNBA Pro, and I will catch you in the next video.